Hey everyone, I hope you're all doing great. Today's recipe is a noodle soup with crispy seared tofu, a medley of vegetables and some dumplings, all in a delicious coconut curry broth. In this recipe we're going to use our own homemade noodles and some daikon radish or chayote dumplings. We shared the recipes for these in previous videos that I have linked up in the description box below. So this noodle soup is very filling and looks elaborate, but with a little organization it can be made in just under 40 minutes if you have the noodles and the dumplings pre-made. So if you want to step up from your curry flavored pot noodle, then today's recipe is for you. Now let's watch Kevin as he makes this delicious noodle soup. Let's start by prepping the tofu and vegetables. We are using firm tofu. Cut the tofu into thin slices at an angle. This creates an interesting texture when they're going to be seared later. Kevin's cutting the carrots into slanted half moons. You can also cut them into julienne or any shape that you like. As for the bok choy, separate the leaves first and then wash them thoroughly as there is often some dirt in between the leaves. For this dish, we prefer to cut them along the length into thirds or halves depending on the size of the leaves. We are using enochi mushrooms, but you may use other types of mushrooms of your choice. Cut off the roots, then separate the enochi into smaller bunches, but do not separate the mushrooms individually, otherwise they will be too delicate to cook. Now leave the prepared vegetables aside for the moment while we start making the curry broth. In a saucepan on medium heat, add the chickpea flour. Roast for 3 to 4 minutes, then add the curry powder and turmeric. Roast for 1 more minute, then add the coconut milk and start to stir immediately. A silicone whisk is helpful to avoid any lumps from forming. Continue to simmer uncovered while stirring until the broth starts to thicken. This should take about 5 minutes. Add some water to adjust the consistency to your liking. We are adding about 1.5 cups. Add salt to taste, then set the broth aside while we start to saute the vegetables. Before we do this, place a large pot of water on the stove and start to heat it. We will later add the noodles to it. If you're adding the dumplings to this dish, you may use a steamer pot instead and steam the dumplings in the meantime. Once steamed, use the boiling water to cook the noodles. You can also use a steamer rack in a regular pot. Then remove the rack, change the water and then boil the noodles. It may be handy to keep some boiling water in the kettle for this, then add it to the pot when needed. While the dumplings are steaming, let's sear the tofu and saute the vegetables. We recommend sauteing the veggies separately for more control on the optimum cooking time for each vegetable. In a skillet on medium-high heat, add 1 teaspoon of coconut oil. Once heated, add the bunches of enochi mushrooms. Cook for about 1 minute on one side, then turn over and cook for another minute on the other side. Once lightly golden on each side, remove from the heat and set aside on a plate. Now saute the carrots in the same skillet. You may add a little oil if required. Cook while stirring occasionally for about 5 minutes, then add in the bok choy. Add a little salt to taste. Cook for another 2 minutes or until the bok choy is slightly wilted. Remove from the pan and set aside. In the same skillet, still on medium-high heat, add 1 more teaspoon of coconut oil. Then add in the tofu slices. Sear until golden and lightly crispy on one side. Then turn them over. Add a few dashes of soy sauce or some salt. The crispy seared tofu adds a nice touch of texture to this noodle ball. So cook until the other side is golden and lightly crispy. Then remove from the skillet and set aside. By now the water in the pot should be boiling. Drop in the noodles and cook for 2 to 3 minutes if using fresh homemade noodles, or cook according to packet instructions. If you want to make your own noodles beforehand, check out our other video on homemade ramen noodles. For this time we brought a little variation to our noodles recipe by swapping the all-purpose flour for whole spelt flour. It worked brilliant and the noodles came out with a subtle nutty sweet taste to them. They married the coconut curry broth to perfection. So once boiled, remove the noodles from the water and place them into serving bowls. Arrange the vegetables, tofu and dumplings onto the noodles. The chayote dumplings, or nuken as they are known, really add a Mauritian flair to this noodle bowl. Lastly, ladle the curry broth, but do not overfill, as this coconut curry broth is quite rich and filling. Garnish with some chopped scallions or spring onions and serve immediately. We hope you've enjoyed this recipe. Do not forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more recipes. Also, check the description below for the links to the other videos mentioned and the printable recipe. Until next time, have a great week.